Hey guys, Michael the DC Multiverse Collector here, coming at you from New Year's Eve in Australia. And as you can see, as a father of two small children who are in bed by 8 PM, I am at home doing reviews of the DC Multiverse Gold Label Dark Knight Interrogation Room Joker. So I'm living my best life here. I hope you're having a cracking New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or whatever it is that you're doing when you watch this. I hope you're having a good one, restful, safe, healthy, all of that. I'm bringing you this look at this deluxe sort of gold label box set of the Dark Knight Joker. I know this came out months ago, and part of me sort of queried, why am I doing this? Is it actually worth doing a review of a figure that's been out for quite some time and everyone's got an opinion on it and everyone's seen it? And then I sort of got in my head a little bit and I thought, do people really care what I think about this? And in the end, I decided it doesn't matter. If even one person finds my review entertaining or interesting or helpful in making a purchasing decision, then it's worth it. And I just love making the videos. So hell with it. I'm going to do it. So here we are, the Joker. You can see he comes in this massive box. I have some sort of qualms about how much box space this takes up, how much shelf space this takes up. The Joker takes up a very small amount of this box, and you see he comes with diorama pieces, table and chairs, and extra hands. But for reasons that become clear when I unpack it, I think I understand why it's done this way, and it'll require some sort of context, but let's get to that. So for now, let's have a look at the packaging. You'll see it's got this big window display, so I think this actually makes a really nice display piece for inbox collectors. So even if you never take it out of the box, I think this thing looks really great. Coming around to the side, you see we have the Dark Knight logo, the Joker Interrogation Room, and on the back we have that very iconic Heath Ledger Dark Knight sort of artwork from the posters and everything back in the day. Very iconic. R.I.P. Heath Ledger, we love you and miss you. Anyway, before I crack this guy open, I just want to say, if this video is helpful or interesting or entertaining, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I was looking at some stats the other day and heaps of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. And then I just got in my head about that and I'm like, nobody likes me. Nobody finds my videos of value. People watch and they just don't care if they watch it again. So if you haven't subscribed, like, would you consider subscribing? It'd really make my 2024. But anyway, enough begging. Let's open this guy up and see what we get in the box. Okay, so here's what you get in the box when you take it all out of that clamshell and out of the big box. There's a lot to actually talk about here, so let's get the boring stuff out of the way. First up, you get one of these display stands. It's the standard DC Multiverse display stand. I'm sick of talking about it, you're sick of hearing about it, so let's move on. Next, we get the standard collector's card. There's that really iconic artwork again, and if we flip it over, there is the data file for the Joker, real name unknown. You can pause that if you are under any misapprehension about who the Joker is and what he is about. Moving on now, here's where we get to the interesting stuff. So in terms of accessories, let's start with this. We get this cool little pager phone thing. Let's try and get it into focus. There it is, you'll see. It's extremely simple. There's not much in the way of paint at all. It's just black. This is what he uses to call and detonate the bomb. So yeah, it's nice to get. It's cute. We also get a whole slew of hands. Now let's get in and take a closer look at those. So in addition to the standard fist hands that are currently on the figure, you get 3 additional pairs of hands. Now I really love this because for a character like the Joker, particularly Heath Ledger's portrayal, he's always gesturing, gesticulating, moving his hands, and you kind of just want that extra personality and choice of posing, dynamic posing options that you get with alternate hands. Now, this is a trend for McFarlane in 2023. There are good trends and bad trends for the DC Multiverse line this year, but this is one of the good trends. The high marks of the line this year is the increasing prevalence of alternate heads and alternate hands. And, I think this is a really great example of it. We get 2 sort of, palm gesture hands, sort of like a talk to the hand kind of a thing. We get 2 pointy hands and we get 2 grabby hands where he can hold a gun or his phone, and I just think that's really nice. And these, I haven't seen these before. I don't think they might be reused, but they're kind of, they've got some extra sculpted detail, veins in the hands, and the fingernails are dirty and long, and they've got a bit of extra wash on them to make them gritty. So I think they're better than average. That is a better than average splay of hands. So yeah, kudos to McFarlane on that, and we'll have a look at how some of those fit when we look at the figure later on. Our next accessory we'll have a look at are these handcuffs. Now you see they're sort of decently sculpted, but these chains are just way out of scale. Like, I don't know what's going on here. That's like a chain that you use to, like, I don't know, like tie up a boat to a dock or an anchor or something. I don't know. It's just like completely wrong. But I'd rather we get these than didn't. But like, what is going on there? Maybe it's a durability issue. I don't know. But you get these handcuffs, and then we get to the really interesting stuff. Now we get these table and chairs. You can see that these are cast in a sort of silvery plastic. There's no paint on them. They are just very, very plain molded plastic. You can see that this has been 2 parts joined together, but it comes glued, so you're not pulling those apart very easily, which is interesting. Usually Dio pieces like this come in parts and you assemble them, but the way this sort of comes pre-packaged in a big 3D space, they've assembled it for you. And it's pretty flimsy, but also it's sturdy enough for what you would need to do with it. I quite like it. And the chairs are similar. Very, very hollow. Nothing going on here around the back. They're simple, not a shred of paint on them, but the sculpt looks decent and accurate to what it's meant to be. I think the more interesting, broader point to make here is that McFarlane has been experimenting with diorama pieces. We had the Black Adam with a throne. We had the Darkseid Lex Luthor with a throne. Now we've got this sort of like table and chairs thing going on. He does the display bases for the 2-packs. He's dipping his toes in the diorama waters for the DC Multiverse line. And I've got to say, I really hope this is something that continues into 2024. 7-inch scale diorama pieces, I think, are a huge draw for a lot of people. Collectors are always trying to find ways to get sort of 7-inch scale furniture and, objects into their collections and their displays. So if McFarlane can start incorporating some of that, imagine if we got like a 7-inch scale Bat computer. Even if it was some sort of like Build-A-Figure where you build the Bat computer over 4 figures, I think people would be really, really into it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you like to see more diorama pieces? I certainly would. So I really like this conceptually. It gives you some sort of fun play options, like you can pose figures sitting down, sitting on the table, doing things on the table. Go check out Josh from before. He's a great YouTube reviewer. You'll know him. If you're watching this, you've definitely watched him before. He does some awesome poses with figures around the table. I can't do anything like that. I don't have the skill. But just the options and the potential is limitless, I feel. So I really, really love this as a trend. In terms of what these contribute to sort of the overall cost of the package, that's a tough one. This is almost double the price of a standard figure. I think it is double the price of a standard figure. In Australia, it's 80 Australian dollars. I don't think this is worth another figure, like all these accessories. They're not. They're like a figure and a half. If this was like 50% more expensive, I'd be on board, but 100% more expensive, double. It's a tough pill to swallow, but putting the price aside, because you might get this on clearance or on sale, or that's up to you. I think conceptually, including diorama pieces is awesome. So A+ for McFarlane on the, I wouldn't say innovation, but just the experimentation in the line. So putting those down for one sec, let's have a look at the final thing I wanted to talk about, which is this. Now, this is the cardboard insert that goes in the packaging, and this is sort of another reason why the packaging is so big. It sort of has this large, sturdily assembled insert. And unlike other inserts that go in McFarlane boxes, this one doesn't have anything packaged within it. So there's no display stand taped onto it. You can remove this from the box without destroying this scenery. And if you actually look at the scenery, it's actually in sort of 7-inch scale, like the artwork's in scale. The bricks are sort of the size they should be, and it's got beautiful paint on the floor. I think McFarlane actually intends that we do use this in the display. Whether you're, displaying it in box or out of the box, I think that's the intention, and I really, really like this. In fact, I like it so much that I wish this had actually been made of plastic. Even just light, flimsy plastic, that would be more durable than cardboard. Let me know what you think. I think just something like this. We are thirsting for sort of diorama pieces. And if this is one way to do it, that's really cool. I like it a lot. But if we could have something a bit sturdier, that would be even better. But this really does enhance the potential of the figure and the playability in terms of photography and posing. So again, A+ for effort, I guess. We could do better in terms of the execution, but in terms of ambition and the idea, I love the idea of including a diorama sort of within the box. So that's really cool. Okay, so now let's take a look at the Heath Ledger Dark Knight Joker figure himself. Now, I do not have the Build-A-Figure Heath Ledger Dark Knight Joker, but this is in many ways just a reissue of that figure with some notable differences. So from what I understand, this is basically the same figure minus the long coat, and different arms. Of course, these are here representing that shirt that he had in the interrogation room scene. It is the same head sculpt with a new paint job. The sort of purple trench coat version had a very clean white face paint. This is more of a mucky, smudged paint reflecting his appearance at this stage in the film. So just overall impressions of the figure are that the proportions are pretty good and the likeness is pretty spot on to Heath Ledger. I know that there are better Heath Ledger Joker likenesses out there, but I think, this is pretty good. You can quibble with it. I'm sure customizers, will fix it up, make it look a little bit more movie accurate, but I think it's overall sort of a fitting tribute to Heath Ledger. I think it's a respectable head sculpt. I think on the side it really looks like him. It captures his nose shape. Heath Ledger has a very distinctive nose profile, and I think this is captured really well. I think maybe the smudgy face makeup could have been done a little bit better. It doesn't quite look like it did in the film, but it's passable enough. And you see the hair is green, but it's really grungy green. Let me adjust the light so you can see. Yeah, I like it a lot. In terms of the outfit, these new arms have that shirt pattern that he had in the film. I don't know that they could have used a bit more paint to be movie accurate. This vest piece is just unpainted. A little splash of paint on there would have really brought it to life. As it is, it just seems like a soft bit of plain plastic, and I think the tie is a little bit plain as well, if I'm being honest. On the other hand, literally, his hands and all the skin that's showing has a really nice sort of wash over it to make them look dirty and mucky and bring out the detail in the sculpt, which I really like. And I will change those hands out for some of the more interesting hands later on in the review. You'll see that it's done quite well here with the rolled up sleeves. They have sort of painted the skin tone here. All that paint matches really well. The sculpted ball joint wrists look pretty good, I think. You'll see here he's got that nice gold chain. It's interesting that the handcuffs had to be in thick, chunky plastic, but this little chain on his pants is really thin and fine. Anyway, that's just an interesting choice. You'll see you've got the stripy pants. The sculpted detail in the creases looks really, really nice. I can't fault it. The shoes, well sculpted, but again, maybe just a bit of paint to bring them to life would have been really, really nice. One interesting thing about this figure aesthetically, I guess, is he's just got a really weird looking diaper. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. If you look at it from side on, I don't know. It just looks like he's wearing granny panties. Yeah, it's just an interesting one. It's not one of the better diapers, I think, and it's got a bulge. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but here, it's just got this bulge here, and I know the Joker is an alpha, but should he be packing like that? Anyway, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know why this Joker is packing so much. It's slightly odd, aesthetically speaking. But yeah, in hand, he's okay. I mean, this midsection is all just one piece. So his whole torso is just one piece. It's got soft plastic on the outside. So to sort of feel him, he just feels very squishy. It's not one of those figures that's satisfying. When you hold a figure and it just feels really weighty and great in your hand? This is not one of them. This feels sort of soft and mushy, which I don't like that much. And the diaper itself, if I pull this here, you can see this is all just, look at this. It's soft mush. Which, yeah, I like a nice firm figure, I guess, and this ain't it. So, yeah, he's not that much fun to sort of hold or play with, but I think overall, especially from a distance, he looks the goods. So, yeah, a mixed bag, but on the whole, pretty good. In terms of the articulation, let's go through it quickly. Head rotates 360 degrees, we get left and right tilt, which is really nice. He looks down about yay much. And up that much. It's pretty good. It's inhibited by the hair, but not too much. And he looks down decently, so that's good. We can do T-pose, past 90 degrees, bicep swivel, obviously swivel at the shoulder, double jointed elbows. It's got the standard McFarlane sculpted ball joint, and it's got the swivel Yeah, which has got like a hinge in it as well. So you can get some really good hand articulation with that. I did notice with his shoulders, they kind of drop down. You can kind of just have to pop them back up to make them look good. Do you see the difference? If I drop them down and pop them up, yeah, it's got to be careful. You can look a little bit weird in the shoulder area. In terms of the legs, splits that much, kick out more than 90 degrees, double jointed knees. He's got a swivel on the foot, a very stiff rocker, which is inhibited by these pants, so you're not going to get too much rock there. Oh, does he rock forward and back? Yeah, he does. It's got the standard McFarlane ball joint under there. I hate these things. They're stiff and horrible. But he does, back and forward. But again, it's all inhibited by this sort of sculpt, so you're not going to get too much there. And the toe articulation as well. Obviously a little bit at the thigh, but no cut. And in terms of the waist, swivels 360 degrees. I just broke him in half. Yeah, anyway, that sucks, but hopefully I can put him back together on camera. Yep, there we go. He's back. All right, he swivels. You do have a crunch, but you got to be careful or his ball will just pop out of the joint. So yeah, that's pretty good, right? And back quite a lot. So yeah, it's decent. Like, you can do a fair bit with him, but it's not mind-blowing. Now let's do a few quick comparisons. Starting off with, I think, the most interesting comparison, he is alongside the Dark Knight Batman, Christian Bale. This is from the theatrical six-pack with the cloth cape. I think it looks really good, and obviously they look sublime together. So yeah, if you have this guy, you definitely, I think, want these as a pair. And here he is with the Aaron Eckhart Harvey Dent Two-Face figure from the Build-A-Figure wave. Not a bad little figure, this one. I think the sculpted detail and the paint on the Two-Face side of the head is amazing, and the sort of Aaron Eckhart Harvey Dent side of it doesn't look right. It looks a little bit cartoony, I don't know, but yeah, as you can see, they look really, really good together. And for some Batman movie villain comparisons, here he is with the Batman and Robin Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure. And here's the Joker alongside Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy from the Batman and Robin Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure wave. She's a tremendous figure, and she's actually my number 2 figure of the year. So check out my top 10 list if you want to see what my number 1 is. You'll probably hate me after you watch it, but yeah, give it a hate watch, let me know what you think. But yeah, these two actually look pretty good together, despite the fact that the movies they're from couldn't be tonally more disparate. But yeah, it is what it is. And here he is alongside Paul Dano's The Riddler from the Batman movie. Now, this is a very atypical look for the Riddler, but I actually think aesthetically you can get away with these two in the same display. They have a very similar sort of design sensibility in terms of they sort of take the core basics of the character and sort of bring them down to grounded earth. I think the Heath Ledger Joker design is overall a more successful design because it more closely evokes the classic Joker look than the Riddler does. But again, not a bad figure, and I think they look pretty reasonable together. Let me know what you think. And for some comparisons with other Joker figures, here he is alongside the Batman 3 Joker's comedian Joker figure. This is probably my favourite Joker figure that McFarlane has released in the DC Multiverse line. He's amazing. They look really, really cool together. And here is the Batman Arkham Asylum Joker, probably one of my favourite versions of Joker, probably my second favourite DC Multiverse figure of Joker that's ever been released. I think it's a great looking figure, but you can really see those proportions. This has very exaggerated video game proportions, and this is more real life. So yeah, just an interesting, different approach to design. And finally, here's the Death of the Family Joker. This is a really gnarly Joker design. I love that head sculpt. The body's not super great, but yeah, that head sculpt takes it a long, long way. So yeah, I really, really like that figure. And you can see that in some ways, you can clearly the same character, but totally different takes on the material. And that's great. I love having lots of different Jokers in my display. So yeah, it's awesome. So what do I think of this Joker Interrogation Room gold label set? Well, it's pretty cool. Putting the price aside for a minute because it's clearly overpriced, I think the inclusion of the diorama pieces is a really, really good move. I'd like to see more of this from McFarlane in the DC Multiverse line in the future. It gives ample opportunity to pose, play, display. I just think it adds an extra level of fun factor, and I think we're desperate for more 7-inch scale diorama pieces. So this is a trend that I hope becomes a trend. In terms of the figure itself, it's nothing remarkable. The head sculpt is good. The paint is solid, articulation's okay. It's not mind-blowing. I think it's probably not as good as the Build-A-Figure version of this character, but this one comes with all those additional hands, all those accessories, the diorama pieces, the packaging that serves as an interrogation room backdrop. So I think overall, bang for your buck play factor, this is the Joker figure to get if you really love the Dark Knight. So that's all from me. If you found this video helpful, interesting, or entertaining, please give it a like, and please consider subscribing if you're watching this and haven't subscribed. I've always got new videos coming out, and there's great things in store for 2024, so I'd really appreciate your support. Until next time, happy collecting, thanks so much for watching, and here's to a happy and safe 2024. This video was brought to you with the support of Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. For a great range of toys from DC Multiverse to Black Series to Marvel Legends, Hot Toys and more, visit Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles and use the offer code DCDUDE, that's DCDUDE, for an exclusive discount month to month. Could be 5% off or $5 off at checkout. Try the code, see what you get, place an order with Fett's, and you won't be disappointed. And we thank Fett's for their continued support of this channel.